Hi, and welcome to this special edition of Women Getting Visible, speaker edition for the Minneapolis show and conference. We are so excited to have you join us today. I'm Christina Vidovich, visibility strategist. This is Amy Nubson, growth strategist, and our special guest today, Teresa. Welcome. We are so happy to have you in the room.
I'm delighted. It was a meant to be thing. When my friend suggested this from Maui, and here we are. It's happening, and I'm so excited to meet you in person.
Fantastic. And we are too. This is incredible. So, one of the things that was so fun and unique about our conference is not only do we have speakers, we have workshops, we have activities where we have facilitators like you who are going to come in and help us through that activity. So, you are a super networker yourself. What is it that drives you to share your message about networking?
What drives me is that sense of meaningful connection. Uh, Honestly, the world feels like a better place to me when people are connecting authentically and helping each other out, and seeing that networking doesn't have to be transactional. It can actually be transformational, and that by having that type of intention, you're actually catalyzing even more possibilities to happen through that authentic connection. So that drives me. And the other thing that drives me is that a lot of people are really either nervous or they really can't stand networking. And it's because they are networking in a way that they think they're supposed to network, and not in the way that fits for who they are, their goals, and moves them forward in a way that feels right. And I think too many of us have thought about networking as you have to show up in a certain way, and you have to make a sale, or you have to sell your service, or but really networking is about human connection and how we can help each other move forward. And so that's what drives me, is seeing that happen, and the beautiful things that happen when good people come together and help each other out.
Oh, I love that too, because when I think back about my networking experiences, and I wasn't great at it when I first started. And I remember hating going to those rooms, especially the big rooms, when you're brand new, you're trying to do it, and you're doing like the Chamber of Commerce events, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So actually, when I first started networking, I would kind of like find a friend and be like, "Ooh, can I go with you?" Because I needed that little extra guidance in the very beginning to kind of help like shift around the room, or they would know people that can introduce me and vice versa. So I love with networking now, people are embracing the idea of like, find your comfort, find the person that can help you, support you, or is it find a different room that you fit better? Because sometimes those rooms, I look back, I'm like, I never should have been in those rooms. I didn't fit in those rooms. Like, and it was telling me all that, and I missed it. So I love that networking is now a little bit less sales, but more about who you are.
Yeah, and what you want and how you can move forward on that, and articulating it. And if you tell other people why you're at something or what you're hoping for through your networking, they can show up and help you. That's much more compelling than, your name, your role, your company, your benefits. People don't remember that type of thing. They think more about how can I help you? Our brains are problem solvers, and they want to care about the problems that they're solving. So if you can establish a connection that you care about and see how you can help each other, then that problem solving kicks in, and then you see, oh, how could we help each other out? And I think that that is a much more exciting way of connecting than I do this, I do that. All right. It's a I mean, it works for some people, like especially if you're somebody who has a very, very concrete job, like I'm a plumber. Great, I need a plumber. But if you're someone that has more like personality, your work, and people that hire you really, they want to care about you or like you at least, then there's more that happens in the networking relationship.
Yeah, no, it's amazing because it's like what you're saying, the problem solving, because it's like, oh, yes, it just makes it that much more memorable into let's have this conversation that I can relate to versus here's a piece of paper with a number on it. Good luck.
Well, and also a lot of people feel like in networking they have to share everything in this short amount of time, but really networking is just about beginning a conversation. And if you think about any of the meaningful connections you have in your network, it didn't all happen within 10 minutes. It was an unfolding of, oh, wow, we have a lot, we could be helpful to each other, or, oh, I could really use that person's service. And then it builds. It's not just a meeting each other and then taking action and it's all done. It's relationship building.
Yes. And I love that the idea too is setting the intention before you go. I remember thinking about that, like, what do I want to do today? I'm like, ooh, I just want to have fun and see what interesting people I can meet.
Yeah.
And just setting that intention sometimes it just made some of the nerves kind of go away. But also, I just got to be a little more playful with my communication and like, or I'll be like, what kind of interesting things can I say that people might be interested in? And just kind of made it more of a game for
Oh,
myself,
yeah.
going, how much more fun can I make this?
I do that, and I can integrate it if you'd like into the session where future self networking, which ties in with visibility. And so we could work on, okay, how are you going to present yourself now as a speaker or as elevating your speaking, right? Because a lot of us will say, this is what I do, or this is what I used to do. But your conference attendees, they're stepping up into a next level of who they are and how they're seen. And it's a perfect way for them to practice showing up in that way and that's the key, Amy, having fun with it, not worrying about it being perfect. Humans connect when they share joy, not when they share perfection, or at least most people.
Oh
So
yeah,
what
I
is
remember networking events where I came home laughing at myself. I'm like, what was that? But I had fun. Like, oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad there was a whole bunch of witnesses there. Those are like moments where I'm like, all right, but I enjoyed myself, right? And those are the people that remember me too. You're like, oh gosh. And I never tell the same story. So as I'm networking, people are like, oh, did you know this about Amy? Or did you know that? I'm like, and so before I knew it, there was like a bunch of little information out there about me, which was really interesting.
You learn that that's what works for you, is being in the moment and being more I wouldn't, maybe improvisational isn't the right word, but you're being present to the moment. And other people feel more comfortable when they have more of a way that they always present themselves. And that's what I'm talking about, is finding what works for you. I'm more like you, Amy, where I share something different pretty much every time because it's tailored to the person that I'm meeting and what makes sense with that connection.
I like that. I like that. And I'll just share one of my things is
Yeah.
being someone who likes fashion and accessories, I always have something that is a talking piece.
Yes.
And trust me, she does. They are not to be ignored at all.
And that is not a small thing. That, especially for women, we love to notice something that's interesting or that we share an aesthetic or like, wow, that's so beautiful. And those talking pieces are great conversation starters. And if they tie in with your intention, like even better, like if I'm just imagining Christina, you're wearing something kind of wild and like, yeah, I'm all about helping women to be more visible through speaking. Then, well, yeah, you're not going to show up in, a mousy grayish sweater hiding in the back of the room.
Exactly. Exactly. And what I also love is this is all really encompassing the clarity, courage, and confidence of us getting out there into these rooms with others. And I just love this whole presentation that you're going to help bring to the room with us. And so, I mean, this speaks to a lot of women, you know, who are coming into the room. So how have you experienced someone change when they have learned some of the techniques that you have brought to them?
Well, there's someone who is very vocal about how I changed her attitude. Her boss had suggested she come to one of my networking things, and she's like, oh, I hate those things. And she came and she loved it. And she said, can I intern? Can I volunteer? And then that was 15 years ago. And she's still very active in the programs that I offer. In fact, she just hosted one for her community. And she talks about how she had this idea of what networking was, and it just felt icky to her. And then she realized, oh, that isn't how I have to network. I can find my way. And she ended up building her business. She said it was almost all of her clients had come through networking. It was something she had been doing as a hobby that she was able to build a thriving business because of networking and finding her voice and being visible and not talking about what she used to do, but what she is stepping into, all of those things. That she's a very powerful example, but similar stories to that. And I can share one more. I can share lots more, but one more that I'll share is a young woman, young professional who had come to our group. And to me, I live in this world where I think women are really there for each other and want to help each other out. And she came from a career where she wasn't seeing that. And so she was a young professional, so she hadn't had a lot of experience. And she came and she saw the ways that women were interacting with each other at our events. And she said, oh, I didn't know that we could do that. And so she said that she went back to her office and the people that she was meeting with through her work, and she shifted. She was like, I don't have to be part of this culture. I can be kind. I can be present. I can be uplifting. And she said it actually had a ripple effect into the culture of her company that she was at, because it wasn't going with, well, this is how people interact in an office, to how do I want to show up?
Well, the nice thing too is if you think about it, it doesn't have to just be in person networking. This is the same way we want to show up online, how we want to show up in conferences, how we want to show up in our work to our clients. All of those kind of things is how do we want to show up? And it does start with the networking though, because that's your first moment that you interact with somebody. And I still remember the first time I interacted with Christina, I'm like, there's something there. I didn't know her, but I'm like, there's something there that we clicked and we're like, we want more. And then we continued the conversation. Like you said earlier, Teresa, it's not all of it in that first 10 minutes. It's continuously like building that relationship after that first impression.
I guarantee you, Amy, that when you met Christina, that Christina wasn't just only talking about herself and this is what I do and this is how I do it. I'm sure that she was present with you and that it felt mutual, because that's what made that connection special.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I mean, we bonded right away over the silliest things, right? That's the idea. You never know what people are going through, what they're doing, or what their backgrounds are. And that's what's interesting about networking is it doesn't always have to be about business. We bonded over our parents being from other countries.
Oh.
And we're like, hey, I get you. I totally understand that world. That's like as a kid, it's those things, that we bonded over, and then the relationship grew that way. And I think that's what we're always taught, is to lead with the business. And I have reversed it. I lead with myself. Then the business talk comes later.
Yeah.
I want to know if I like you, and if you match my world, and if there's a need for me, or if I can help you.
Right. Yeah. And they can be connected. Like what you care about can definitely be connected with what you do for a career, but it's getting to that core of your passion, what you care about, what motivates you, what brings you joy. Those are the things that connect us. And the fact that you both had parents from other countries, even though it felt really personal, I'm sure that there are also ways that that ripples out into your careers and your businesses, and you're clearly thinking more globally, both of you, right? Because
Yes.
of that shared experience.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yes, it both gave us both a love and passion for travel. I'll tell you that. Yes.
Absolutely. I think that was probably the other thing that we bonded over next after recognizing is like, oh, so yes, we absolutely have a totally different worldview because of that as well, for sure. You nailed it, Teresa. You nailed it. Oh, so I have one of our questions coming up for you. Why does visibility matter?
Well, if people don't know that you exist, you're not going to have the impact, the influence, the success, whatever it is that you're wanting. You can't have it unless people know that you offer it or that you are it. Uh, Very few people, unless you want to be farming, and be, Walden's Pond, very few people have that lifestyle. Anyone else, if they want to be hired, if they want to have friends, even if they want to be pursuing their interests, all of that requires people knowing that you're there. And it doesn't mean you're the loudest in the room. It doesn't mean you're the one that is effortlessly talking with everybody. It means that you are present, you are responsive, and you are relevant with the people that you meet, and that you're there, right? Like that you show up. And that's part of it too. That's key, is finding those opportunities that fit for you. You're going to be much more likely to show up than when you're trying to pretend to be something that you're not, like going to an event that doesn't feel, it just doesn't fit for you. But if you're with people that you feel excited about being around or you care about, then you'll be seen. And then that's where the magic happens, is being seen. You're right, it can be online, but in person is a beautiful thing. We've all experienced now what it feels like to have only online for a long time, and that excitement, but also nervousness that people had about coming back together. But we realized how much that actually was a part of our well-being, is being connected with each other.
I can say that better myself. That was great. Yes. That's the thing too, is networking, visibility. You can't make friends if you don't show up. You can't make a new sale if you don't talk to somebody new. I just it made me remember, like, one of my great friends when I was first starting out in business. I met her at a networking event and I was like, oh my God, I do not want to buy a magazine ad. And she kept talking to me and kept talking to me. And I'm like, what are we doing? And she goes, I just really like you. Let's just be friends. I'm like, sure. Okay, that I can do. you I'm like 23 years old going, what's happening here? And she became like a sister to me.
Oh,
All because we met each other at a networking event. Right. So
yeah.
those moments, those people that come into your life, don't dismiss them because they're not a sale. You don't know how they will impact and ripple out later on.
That's so important that you say that, because when I talk about intention, it doesn't mean being locked into an intention. It means leading with intention, but then sometimes there's something better than you had expected. So she went into that situation thinking, I got to sell magazine ads. But then she realized, okay, you're not going to buy a magazine ad, but I think you're great. Your energy, I love it. And can we be friends? Can we hang out? And so she shifted to something that was a fit for both of you, and she voiced it. She was visible about it. She didn't just be like, oh, Amy's so cool, I wish we could be friends. She said it. And there is a risk that you take, and like,
Yes.
you could have said, I have plenty of friends, I don't need a magazine ad. But you know what, kudos to her, she said it, and you were able to match it if it fit your intention and your
Yep.
interests as well.
Yep. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I went to that event. I honestly didn't get a sale on that event at all, but I got an amazing connection and person in my life. So that's what the power of networking is. That's the power of what me and Christina are building and the people in the room. These aren't just for your, hey, learn from them and let them go. We want you to
Yeah.
know our speakers, get to know Teresa, ask her what, about herself, engage with the women in the room because that's what we're all about. And that's what we're craving actually and really in life is we want to know people and we
Yes.
want people to know us.
And that's one of the things I was so drawn to with your conference is, to me it really matters when anyone goes to a conference that they're able to not just learn but take action, practice, have those connections that felt meaningful and good to be able to carry them forward. Too often in our busy lives, we go to these events, we fill our head, make all these amazing, what we think are amazing connections, but then we stop and we don't take action and we don't carry forward what we learned or continue the conversations. And then it ends up just being like, oh, that was a nice memory. And that's not what your conference goers want, right? They want it to have this life-changing impact, and part of that is through the connections that they make and being visible and showing up and practicing using the tools that they will learn at the conference and not just tucking it away in a file folder, but practicing it and getting those wheels moving and not just in your scrapbook as a memory.
Exactly. Teresa, I don't think you could have said it better. That is exactly sums up what we are
Yes.
presenting this June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Minneapolis. I want to thank you for joining us today as our special guest speaker. And I'm Christina, and this is Amy, and we will see you in Minneapolis. Thanks for joining this episode of Women Getting Visible.
Share your story.